Breaking tonight, brand new 2016 Fox News polling showing little change for frontrunner Donald Trump, while Dr. Ben Carson, Carly Fiorina, and even Marco Rubio start moving up off of the last big debate. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. New Fox polls show Republican frontrunner Donald Trump at roughly the same vote share he had nearly 6 weeks ago after the first Republican debate. Take a look at what is happening, on the other hand, with Dr. Ben Carson, Carly Fiorina, and Senator Marco Rubio, all with notable surges, with experts saying that bold moves from each of those three candidates have led to significant gains. We also have dramatic new numbers on how everyone did at that debate. We want to bring in Chris Stirewalt, our Fox News digital politics editor, and Dana Perino, who served as White House press secretary under President George W. Bush, also co-host of The Five right here on FNC. So, Chris, let me start with this. Donald Trump's still the front runner and hasn't lost any, in fact, gained a point from our last poll. But the line for him looks like this. And what does it tell us?
Well, it tells us that, and actually it's the exact same vote share that he had the week before our debate. So for 7 weeks, Donald Trump has sat in the front of the pack for the Republican Party, but in an unchanged share. And he looks to be doing sort of what Mitt Romney was doing in the 2012 election. Was he got out to a lead and he's trying to sit on it. He's trying to run out the clock. But he got a lot of clock to run out. And now, as Jeb Bush continues to, not with low energy, sliding to sixth, and he's sliding to sixth in the poll. And now Trump has a real problem. He's got Ben Carson, he's got Marco Rubio, he's got Carly Fiorina, who are all getting a little gust here. And Carson, especially, is willing to go places that Trump's not willing to go, especially as it relates to the role of Islam in a public life and all of that stuff.
Because if you look at the polling numbers, Dana, they're going up for some of the candidates, and they're staying the same for Donald Trump. So Fiorina's gone way up, Rubio's gone way up, Carson's gone up as well. I'm trying to get it. Okay, so Trump is up 1, Carson is up 6, Fiorina and Rubio up 4 and 5 respectively. So their trending is looking better.
I think for Donald Trump, he was in such a high position anyway. It was probably going to be hard to increase that beyond at where he was, even at that point. I mean, people are still sort of shopping around, and I think that anybody who is now thinking that maybe Ben Carson is their candidate, they probably came from the Donald Trump camp. I think what this does show is that the outsiders are still the in crowd, at least as far as we are seeing. Now, Rubio is kind of considered an insider, but there's a lot of buzz around even people thinking maybe they could have supported somebody else in the race, maybe a Jeb Bush or a John Kasich, thinking, there's Rubio. Keep an eye on him.
Of the non-outsiders, Rubio seems to be the most palatable choice to voters, at least at this point in the election.
Well, and I do think on Jeb Bush, I'd be curious, maybe Chris would know, but the attacks from Donald Trump against Jeb Bush, so the television ads as well as at the debate, that might have taken a toll over the past month.
Speaking of the debate, Chris, this is the first real poll we've seen on how people feel the candidates did. People have been pointing to these online polls. The Drudge Report. Those are online polls. If I like a candidate, I can just go on and say, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this, this. And so we don't even cite those on Fox News. They're not worth the paper on which they are printed. However, this is a real poll that says how people did in the debate, how they do.
Well, Carly Fiorina did well, and everybody agrees on that. Every index, every matrix, everything that we have looked at says Carly Fiorina did well, and our poll bears it out. She did the best. Now, remember, when we look at things like this, the people, if you like a candidate, you are more prone to think that they did well in a debate. There's a built-in preference there. But what Fiorina did was get the approval, get the win from a lot of people who said that she wasn't their pick. And that's good news for her because it means, again, that they're open to her. And again, voters said, just as they did after our debate, that the greatest number of voters said that Trump did the worst, but that's probably reflective of just how many people dislike him inside the party.
But he's the front runner. I mean, I don't understand it, because he is the front runner in the Republican Party, and yet more people thought he lost than they thought anyone else lost. And basically, 30% thought that he lost in the debate, which is higher than anybody else, which was the same thing with the first debate. More voters thought he lost than thought anybody else lost.
Slice the Republican Party into thirds. You got a third of the Republicans who are definitely do not want Donald Trump. You got a third of Republicans who either want him or are open to the idea of him. These are broad generalities. And then you got another third that is waiting and seeing, as Dana says, waiting and seeing to find out what's going to go on. And as Trump looks at how you get to the win from here, he's got to find a way to start changing minds in that swing third so that they're open to him. And he's not going to be able to do it if he keeps running reruns of his same campaign from August. He has to find a way to do something new, or he's gonna be stuck.
Same attacks. Heard him before. Dana, let me ask you. Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
He was at 0, and now he's at 0.
However, he did have a pretty good debate.
I know, but it's like the line from Animal House, like 0.0, son.
I actually think
there's no way to go through life.
I think you can look at the bottom 7. If you look at the bottom 7, I think that all of those campaigns could probably see themselves closing out before Thanksgiving.
I mean, how long can you run for president when poll after poll is like, well, 0 like you?
You have to, I guess you have to.
Nobody wants you.
So you have to do a personal cost-benefit analysis, right? So what are they getting out of staying around? So they're getting
their message.
Like Lindsey Graham would say, at least I'm getting people to talk about ISIS.
And that's true. Right? He's got an interesting message, but like he's not the only one. Santorum, Jindal, Gilmore, less than 1, still has less than 1. Pataki, 1 to 1. I mean, it's like Rand Paul's down to 2 from 3. It's like it gets really depressing.
It does start to get a lot more.
This is just mean. I'm going to stop now. Okay.
It starts to get a lot more expensive, and so these people are going to have to make a choice very soon.
I think more people want you and Chris than want. With all due respect,
definitely want Chris.
It's a ticket America can really get behind right there.
Okay.
That's right.
All right, great to see you both. Thank you.
You bet.
Well, you just saw the new numbers with Fiorina among those moving up fast. Donald Trump today ramped up his battle with the woman who's looking more like a threat all the time. Rich Lowry and Chris Salcido are here next with where this fight could be headed. Plus, breaking news from our Catherine Herridge tonight on Hillary Clinton, the FBI, and what they're finding on the computer server she thought she wiped clean.